Hey guys, I'm giving you guys a little look into the combat beta because I'm on another account that I never used really, because my main account didn't get accepted through the 50k, randomness like thing they had, but my other account did, and luckily it did because it allowed me to really test out everything and upload it on my channel. So basically, I have come up with a really good setup. It's kind of like a tank setup. Basically, I put my combat type attacks to the left, defensive abilities to the right. I think that the defensive abilities are really underrated at the moment because it seems like everyone at the moment is going for these special attack abilities and whatnot. And honestly, if you go with these defensive abilities, you have a high chance of beating out somebody who's way better combat than you. And as you can see, this is not. Remember, this is not my main account. Look how shitty these stats are. 75 attack, 70 defense, 70 strength, and 75 defense. Pretty shitty stats, if you ask me. And I've been able to beat out a lot of people who are a lot better stats than me. And I'm basically going to show you what my abilities are at the moment. Remember, from to the left is attack, then as it goes right, it's defensive abilities. And I put it this way just because I found it a lot easier to while in combat to switch between. Like, I can use an attack ability, and then if I need to use defense, I go right to the right. It makes it less confusing, and it's a lot easier to look upon. Anyway, my first ability is Sever, which is a basic ability, and it severs your target's nerves, dealing up to 300% weapon damage and reducing any damage they deal by 10% for 10 seconds. So any damage that comes to me is reduced by 10, and my attack can deal up to 300% weapon damage. My second ability is another basic ability, which is Dismember. Dismember your target, dealing 200% weapon damage over 6 seconds. And I actually found it's pretty well. It's a pretty good technique for being only 14 strength requirement. Although I kind of put a lot of basic abilities for my attacks because I really don't use the abilities that much. And honestly, I use more defensive abilities to win my battles. And my basic abilities are just to build up my adrenaline. My third ability is another basic ability, which is called Fury, which unleashes your Fury, dealing damage equal to 150% of 6 seconds auto attack damage to your target. Basically, you click this technique and it does 6 attacks all in a row. Generally, about 3 of them hit. Not all of them hit. Sometimes you don't hit at all. So it really is up to luck on that one. My fourth ability happens to be Slaughter, which is a threshold ability, which I use after I get my adrenaline bar up to the halfway mark. This threshold ability causes your target to bleed for up to 400% weapon damage over 10 seconds. If the target moves location, they suffer triple damage. So basically, I use this slaughter technique, and I move, making my opponent as well. My opponent will have to move as well, and it deals up to 3 times the damage, which is really awesome because it's like 750, 750, 750 every time, and it works really well. Another threshold ability you have is Quake. Smash your weapon into the ground beneath you, dealing 150% weapon damage to all adjacent targets. The thing about this is that it's a two-handed melee weapon, and I think I'm going to swap it out for a one-handed since I don't really use the Armadillo Godsword. My sixth ability is a defensive ability, which is called Anticipation. Concentrate on anticipating your foe's attack, reducing all damage taken by 10% for 10 seconds. Now, my focus really when I was thinking about this account, because its stats were so low, is I needed to really go with a defensive type of style, because it seemed to me like the defensive would work a lot better than, any other type of style for me, because my combat stats are not that well, but I figured defense-wise I can try to make up for that, and I actually figured out a way to really do that. My seventh ability happens to be Reflect. Raise your shield, reflecting 50% of any damage you receive back to the attacker for the last 10 seconds. For 10 seconds, I reflect 50% of the damage due to me back. This move is really critical, and when you use it, the best time to use it is when they have a threshold, when they have a threshold ability, or they're about to use a ultimate ability, and you kind of have a split second. If you have to be watching the screen, you can actually use it, and it does up to 50% damage, which is really critical, and it's a really awesome thing to use, and it only has a 20-second cooldown, and battles now also last a lot longer, so it's not too bad to use it. My eighth ability is a basic ability, which is bash your target with the shield, stunning them for 3 seconds. If they're immune to the stun, they get 300% weapon damage. This is really useful, especially when you first start your fight. I recommend using it because it stops them from using their abilities, and using the abilities really is what gets your adrenaline bar up. So basically, I can get my bar almost 1/4 of the way up before they even can activate anything, and it only has a 15-second cooldown, and it's really useful. One of my favorite abilities right now is my 9th ability, which is Resonance, and it's a basic ability. Will cause 48 defense, but the next attack you receive within 6 seconds will heal you instead of harm you. This is really critical when you're using a threshold or another ultimate, although you can use it at any point in time if your HP is kind of lingering and it's about to drop. Really awesome to come back and take it away. And this one is Preparation. This ability is only good if you're using Resonance, because prepare. Let me take off this my thing. It says prepare for the fight ahead, causing each attack you receive to reduce the remaining cooldown of Resonance by 3 seconds, lasts 10 seconds long. And this is really awesome because it speeds up the charge rate of Resonance, which is 30 seconds, is half a minute, and it probably sometimes takes it down to about 20 seconds, and it's really awesome because Resonance heals you, so it's kind of like, really, you don't really need food anymore. But these two abilities together are really awesome, so if you're using Resonance, I recommend using Preparation as well. If you're not using Resonance, then you don't need Preparation, but this is a kind of a tank technique. This is mainly for tankers. This kind of setup I'm trying to show you. You don't really focus on attacking, you're more focused on defending, because that is essentially what, if you think about it, that's what a tanker is. And that's why I usually don't focus on combat type styles. That's why my combat type moves, which are the 5, are kind of weak, and I'm probably going to swap some of them out for better ones. My ultimate abilities only have 2, and they're at the end. Rejuvenate, channel your adrenaline and help you restore your life points, healing, health, and drain stats over time. It's pretty awesome to use this because it will really, in time, it heals you. So basically, as I activate this, I try to stun them so I can get that healing to start, because it activates right after, and it's kind of slow paced, but eventually it can get you about halfway up. I'm not sure how much it heals because it's kind of random. I haven't really measured it, but it's really awesome. Now my favorite is ultimate ability, which is Immortality, becoming immortal. Any damage you receive is reduced by 25% for 30 seconds. If you should die during this period, you will miraculously return to life. However, the immortality effect will be consumed. So if you have to come back to life, then the effectiveness is automatically taken away. Whole thing about this, if you activate this ability, and it's best to try to do it when you're about to die, rather than doing it with higher HP. Like if I'm half HP, I use Rejuvenate, but if I'm really low, I use Immortality. Now this is based off trying to deflect damage back to them with like abilities such as Reflect, but mainly this type of style I'm trying to show you is mainly for basically healing off other people's attacks and deflecting them, and this isn't really a combat type style. So it's just trying to show you how to really, it's kind of like a tanking type method towards doing it. So basically I did this setup and I barely ever lose, considering how shitty my stats are. And it really depends on, sometimes it's a little bit of luck, I guess you can say, and a little bit of skill, because sometimes you have to time it perfectly with an ultimate or a threshold ability. So anyway, I'm going to end this right here, and I'm going to post this video, and there's going to be another video after this showing us in combat. So basically, this is just taking a look at it, and I might tweak some of these, and if I do, I'll show you in video, but I'll be right back, and I'm going to get some fights, and hopefully show you how good this setup is, and hopefully you guys, if you don't have the beta, and if you get into the beta later, on the weekends, July 7th, then hopefully you guys can try this, and if it does end up going to the game, you can try this method out, and it's really awesome. So I'll be back with some fights, hopefully about 5 or 6, and I'll end it for today, and I'll come back tomorrow and get more into detail on the abilities and other types of setup. So anyway, peace guys, hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll be back.